You go to Africa, you go to Latin America, you go to China, you go to Taiwan, you go to South Korea, you find me some atheists.
Right.
Good luck.
But if anything,
atheism is not spreading. Atheists try and convert more people than any other religion I know.
Yeah.
This is easily Stuart's best debate, where he explains whether faith is dying in the United States and around the globe. All credit to Stuart, and give me an answer for the clips used. Let's dive in.
I think we all construct a higher power in our lives, regardless of whether or not we believe in a God. I think we can all strive for something better. I think we have our own models. We can all strive for something better. I think literature is a good example of this. Like when we create like literary characters, these are things that teach us about ourselves and expand our consciousness. I don't think there necessarily needs to be a Jesus Christ figure. Jesus Christ, I think I see him more as a literary kind of character that we can like learn from, but I don't think he needs to be as idealized in reality as he has been for it to be valuable. And I think the thing with like a higher power, we all construct that in our life. A higher power for somebody might be like their passion for a certain thing that gives them purpose, and that's their higher power. And that God fulfills that role for a lot of other people. But I just don't think that alone is like proof of anything. I think that's just proof that we as humans have an innate desire to strive towards something, and God was created to fulfill that void in the human like need, in that need that humans have.
And it's fascinating because about 8% of the world is atheistic, and that's going to decrease, Pew Research shows and sociologists claim, in the coming years. And Christianity and Islam are spiking. In the next few years, it's supposed to be 65% of the U.S. is Christian and Islam. In the world, Christianity is by far and away the largest worldview, but Islam is catching it. And so through immigration and other ways, this nation will grow greatly in Christianity as well as Islam. So I always struggle with why so many have said, like even John Lennon in 1966, even Newsweek magazine back in the 60s talked about, even Nietzsche said, God is going to die, God is in the process of dying, and as we get more scientific and technological and smarter, everybody's just going to become atheistic, religion will go away. Why has that not occurred? And it might be, it might be, no, it's not.
There is
the world is becoming much more religious than secular. That is proven statistically.
But what do you mean by religious? Because you guys seem to have a very interesting definition of religion, where like there is somebody is not technically Christian if they're not following the values of somebody like Jesus Christ. How can we even say that this person is like actually religious, or are they just doing it because it was part of their like upbringing or something?
Yeah.
And I think I am kind of forced to believe the statistics you're saying, because I don't want to be that guy that pulls the phone out in the middle of the conversation and looks it up. But
I'll just say my sources: Pew Research and the Washington Times and the New York Times.
The interesting part of that, though, is I'd have to actually read that, because there's a lot of context that usually goes into the analysis of data. You can't look at raw data. There's often a lot of context.
Well, bro, just look at it. Excuse me for interrupting. Just look at India. It's all Hindu. It's not growing in atheism. Atheism is 65% of atheists are white male.
Yeah.
And atheism, every single atheistic conference is in the West.
Yeah.
You go to Africa, you go to Latin America, you go to China, you go to Taiwan, you go to South Korea, you find me some atheists.
Right.
Good luck.
But if anything,
atheism is not spreading. Atheists try and convert more people than any other religion I know.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm debating an atheist, they are strongly trying to convert me, more so than I'm trying to convert them, which I find is hilarious, because if no God exists, and if religion, especially Christianity, is not deleterious and harmful to the human race, why are they trying so hard to convert me? And specifically to your point, you keep getting at this idea of a higher power, and let's just all kind of agree on a higher power if it works for you. Look, I'm in full agreement with that. But the whole thing that we're talking about out here is, don't come to Christianity if it works for you. Come to Christianity if it is the truth, and if it's not the truth based off of evidence, discard it. Live by humanistic values, which are the fumes of the Judeo-Christian faith, which I bet you are probably living out of. So you are probably living as a Christian but rejecting Christianity.
Like it's just basic morals that like if you look at the utility of why something like the Bible would be created, it would be to reflect the already existing human morals of the society at the time. I also think what you said earlier oddly kind of proved my point for me, where you were talking about countries in the world that are growing in their religious fervor.
Yes, it's cool.
These are part of the world that are less developed. Like these are parts of the world that like are
China. China has over 100 million. I'm pretty sure technology and science in China is growing rather rapidly. And the intellectuals themselves, it's fascinating you go here because there was a group of intellectuals. So I just had a little caffeine. Am I speaking too loudly? I'm going to bring it down.
What's the per capita GDP in a place like China then?
China, but the problem, bro, the problem right now is you're trying to equate atheism and scientific knowledge together and all other religions as the IQ is lower and it's just part of slavish societies. First of all, that is tremendously elitist and tremendously offensive to those who are religious. And secondly, any type of intellectual, cumulatively, I'm talking about cumulative studies, show that Christians and atheists have the same level of IQ, and specifically Anglicans, oddly enough, that denomination, has a higher level of IQ than atheists in the typical Christian denomination.
Interesting that you talk about IQ. I think it's a little bit of a straw man. I didn't need to mention it.
Okay, that's not where you're going?
Well, what I was specifically talking about was developing countries where there is less resources for education, meaning that they're like people that might have higher IQ might instead of be going to like a college or something, might be going to a Quran study class or something, where like the whole country is based upon religion and it's ingrained into their law. And I think you say China in jest, but yes, China is a less developed country. I mean, the wealth inequality in a place like China, it spits in the face of even America. It's like it's unreal. Like most of China is rural, and in those places, these people don't have good access to education. Same in places like India. These places that you talk about where religious fervor is growing are literally in places where people have less access to education.
Stalin himself said this. If Christianity, one of the main pillars of American society, is swept away, that country will fall apart. And the growth of secularism in this country, if it continues to grow, even though statistically, fortunately, it will not, like I stated, this place will fall in on itself. Because you absolutely have to have moral standards and you have to have an objective purpose in life. Because on this campus, why is it 50% clinical anxiety? Why is there 25% high depression? Why are suicide rates skyrocketing? Why are 54% of marriages divorcing? It has a lot to do with
the divorce rates.
What am I living for? And why am I entering a relationship that I'm supposed to be committed to?
I am willing to adapt to information. If compelling evidence of a Christian God were to come out, I would. That would be amazing. That'd be great.
Well, and that's you're straw manning us, because we're not saying this is the absolute. If somehow evidence came out and there was an ossuary and we found Jesus Christ's bones, I would have to stop believing in Christ because he wasn't raised from the dead. So it's a little presumptuous and quasi-offensive, and I'm not that offended, for you to say, we have this objective authoritarian truth and we are not budging on it. But you over here, hey, I'm waiting for more, I'm discovering things, and this is me. Is that not the greatest assertion and the greatest form of spiritual dogmatism in terms of what you claim to be the truth? I think it is. You're worshiping the search. That's a worshiping position.
Thanks for watching Stuart Knechtle's Best Debate. This discussion was packed with incredible insights and thought-provoking points about the state of faith in the world today. Stuart makes a strong case that faith, especially Christianity and Islam, is not dying, but actually growing both globally and here in the United States. One point that really stood out was Stuart's argument about how a more secular nation risks collapse because it lacks the moral foundation and purpose that faith provides. He also countered the idea that only less developed countries believe in God by pointing to China, which is highly developed yet experiencing significant growth in Christianity. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. All credit to Stuart Knechtle and give me an answer for the clips used. Thanks again for watching.